Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You've probably heard by now the news that Leica has re-released their M6 film camera. And maybe wondering to yourself, this is not a film photography channel, why are you talking about a film camera? This is not going to be a video extolling the virtues of film, nor will it be a video comparing film to digital photography. It certainly won't be a review of the M6 because honestly, that should have been done decades ago. This is going to be a video about the implications of Leica re-releasing this camera. Let me say a few things up front. I don't own an M6. I'm probably not going to buy one, but I do still believe that this release is important to the entire photographic community, myself included. Let me explain why. So who cares about a new Leica film camera in 2022? Well, I think all photographers should care, even though the vast majority will not be buying this camera. Even if they're in the market for a film camera, this is the upper end, very exclusive, very expensive. So it's only ever going to be a certain small segment of photographers that buy it. So why am I saying it's important to all photographers? Hang with me, I promise. It's going to make sense. So photographers of a certain age, like myself, all started with little cameras similar to I say they're little because they're smaller than the cameras today. They're heavier, but they're smaller. But they were simple. The entire principle behind this was that you had to understand photography to use it. F-stop, shutter speed, film speed. That's really the only variables that this camera can allow you to set. And you had to have some knowledge. You had to have some skill. It was how you got into photography. Being able to properly expose film was the entrance exam, so to speak. The essence of film photography is simple, and this little camera epitomizes that. But in the 90s, it changed a little bit. The cameras that came out in the 90s, like this beast, the EOS 3, this is a monster of a camera. It's huge, and as you can see, they are two different worlds. They are from two different worlds. The EOS 3 more foreshadows digital photography than it represents film photography. Stay with me. I'm not trying to cause any jihads about film and purism or anything. Work with me. The fact that these cameras moved forward, they foreshadowed what was to come in digital photography. And that's great. They were what you had at the time. The needs of the mass market have been beautifully filled by digital photography, most notably phones. The needs of the mass market are to be able to create images that look good anywhere, anytime. Once you could do that, you took the pressure off of film photography. And that was a good thing. Once this happened, younger photographers or those new to photography grew up in a digital photography world because film at that point would have become a choice. You did not have to use film anymore to do photography. And as I was also talking about, the level of, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, the level of knowledge or the level of skill with exposure was eased. These new cameras are freaking awesome. I mean, they can do things and do exposures that it would take old school film photographers a long time to acquire that skill. And that's good, that's great. But you still don't want to lose the choice of choosing the medium of film. I feel it is very important that that choice continue. If that choice did not continue, it would be as if the entire artistic practice of photography threw away its entire history prior to digital. That would be insanity to me, honestly. What kind of artistic practice throws away previous ways of doing it just because a new way was invented? Film photography is not better or worse. It's not outdated. It's not this or that. It's film. It is a way of doing photography. It's where the entire practice started. Because digital came along doesn't mean film is now somehow other or less or worse. It's just different. This would be as if when acrylic paint came along, oil paint was thrown out because it just wasn't as good anymore. And if you know any painters, they would laugh in your face. These are two completely different mediums that are used in two completely different ways to achieve two completely different artistic results. But they're both painting. And digital and film are both photography. Now we come to the heart of it. Because Leica is an industry leader almost like no other, even though they're a low volume manufacturer, their voice is very loud. When they re-release this M6, they are saying film is a vital choice worth putting money behind to create new equipment. That's a big statement about this industry. Having at least a few new film cameras going forward, it's never going to be what it was. And I would argue that's a good thing. You know, we've moved on. But having at least a few new cameras ensures that film as a choice will continue. I firmly believe all photographers should have all the choices they want for image making. Because even if you've been digital since day one, you love it, one day you may wake up and go, what am I missing? Maybe I want to try it. And if it's all gone, you don't have that choice anymore. So clearly, I'm not saying everyone should shoot film. I think you should have gathered that by now. At the same time, you can start to understand why I feel that having new film cameras out there are very important to all of us. For instance, I'm not going to be using film for my professional work. I have evolved an aesthetic of my professional work that depends on what I can do with digital for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is that digital simplifies my life as a professional portrait photographer from a time and money and just an endless number of ways. I love the digital workflow. I like the digital look. I've done things in the post-production of digital that I like. It's a look I like. But I shoot film when I go on photo walks occasionally because I like that too. I started with it so I know what it tastes like. I want all photographers to be able to experience that taste if they should so choose. Not because I think they should. It's not about should. I want that option. We owe it to ourselves to have all options as image makers. So I think the Leica M6 announcement is very important to all of photography because it signals that we won't lose our legacy and we will continue to have that choice. No matter how much film is manufactured, and some of the manufacturers are starting to spool up some more film, great. But without new cameras, all the gear is just going to age out, and then the film manufacturers will have to stop making it. If at least a few equipment manufacturers continue to make some new versions of old cameras like this, at least there will be a symbiosis between the film and the film equipment manufacturers that will allow a business of some size to continue in this practice. I appreciate your indulgence in this. I hope I haven't strayed too far from why you come to this channel. I just thought it was really important. I'd love to hear your comments on it. I know some of you are film photographers, so I look forward to swapping some tales with you in the comments. Hey guys, until the next video, thank you so much for watching. Cheers.